I love how the Bible talks about God taking the foolish things or the things that don't make sense and using those things to confound the wise or to confuse the people who think they know more than the average person. There's a story that comes to mind. The people of Israel are preparing for battle, and literally God is like, I'm going to give you the victory, and here's how I'm going to do it. When you hear an invisible army marching on top of the leaves of the mulberry trees, then that's when you should go down, because then it's on. It's going down. And I mean, you can look at me. I'm not in a biblical era army, and I've never been a commander or a general. But if I heard that, I'd be pretty confused too. But the good news is that God works in those kind of moments. It doesn't have to make sense to me. God doesn't do things to make sense. It doesn't make sense for God to come out of nowhere and speak and create all of creation. But he did. It didn't make sense for an axe head to swim, or for a donkey to speak, or for Hezekiah to extend his life by merely asking, or for bodies of water to be parted like highways in the desert. It doesn't always make sense, but it's God. That's how he moves, and it's in that knowledge that we exist. And we have to build lives full of the power and glory of God, knowing that. Now, this kind of divine dependence, though, it requires a whole lot of faith, a whole lot of leaning into what you believe God is saying to you. Today, that might be a little weird, but perhaps that is exactly what's going to define your brand, or what's going to define your recital performance, or separate you from everyone else in your field that's doing it a certain way that's been the status quo for millennia. When God is saying, when you hear the sound of an army at the top of the trees, be ready to go, you have to be ready. You just have to slow down enough to hear God in the hustle. And many times our creating feels like war. You know, really, life feels like a war sometimes. But you can't lose your focus. The army's sole focus was not on war strategy. God's only instruction was for them to wait for the wind to blow. And as small as that seems, sometimes God is just waiting on us to be still enough to hear the answers to our problems come out of thin air.